Imagine waking up to the smell of burning incense, golden sunlight hitting limestone walls, and the crushing realization that your life is worth exactly as much as your job description. You aren't just living in ancient Egypt. You are a cog in a divine machine, where your social rank is carved into the very bedrock of the Nile Valley. We are traveling back 3,000 years to the New Kingdom, the golden age of the pharaohs. From the mud brick huts of the servants to the gilded chambers of the palace, every rank dictates your diet, your afterlife, and whether your head stays attached to your shoulders. Let's start at the very bottom. You are a field laborer. Your life is dictated by the inundation of the Nile. When the river floods in July, you aren't farming. You are performing corvée labor. This is the state-mandated tax of physical toil. You are hauling limestone blocks for the latest temple expansion, or digging irrigation canals. You have no shoes. Your diet is bread, beer, and onions. You work from dawn until dusk, and if you drop dead from exhaustion, you are buried in a shallow pit in the sand, with no tomb, no coffin, and zero hope of reaching the field of reeds. You are a biological engine, and the state owns your sweat. Move up slightly, and you become a specialized craftsman living in a place like Deir el-Medina. You are a stonecutter, a painter, or a scribe's assistant. You have a stone house with 4 rooms. You have a door that locks. You are the middle class of the ancient world. You get paid in grain, fish, and vegetables. You have a union. Yes, the first recorded labor strike in history happened here in 1159 BC, under Ramses III, because your grain rations were delayed. You have rights, but you are watched. Your life is measured in output. If you carve a hieroglyph incorrectly, you aren't just fired, you are flogged. Climb the ladder further, and you enter the world of the scribes. You have spent years at a house of life, practicing your reed brush on pottery shards. You have soft, uncalloused hands. You don't lift heavy things, you lift the tax burden of the kingdom. You are the eyes of the pharaoh. You record the grain count. You audit the gold supply. You know the secrets of the bureaucracy. You wear clean linen, white and starched. You smell like cedar oil, not mud. You are the backbone of the state. If the pharaoh says to march, you write the orders. If the harvest fails, you calculate exactly how much the peasants can survive on before they revolt. You are safe. You are elite. And you will be buried in a decorated tomb with your own papyrus copy of the Book of the Dead. Now, we enter the inner sanctum. You are a priest. You don't just serve the gods. You maintain the existence of the universe. You are shaven from head to toe. Eyebrows, hair, everywhere. You undergo ritual purification twice a day. You wear leopard skins draped over your shoulders. You enter the sanctuary of Amun-Ra, where the smoke is so thick you can barely breathe. You wash the god's statue, clothe it, and offer it food. You are terrified. You know the power of the temple is greater than the army. You control the calendar, the astrology, and the wealth of the land. When the pharaoh needs divine approval, he comes to you. You aren't just a religious figure. You are a politician with the backing of the divine. But then, there is the vizier, the chadi. You are the shadow of the pharaoh. You are the man who actually runs Egypt. You preside over the great court. You oversee the treasury, the judiciary, and the military command. You handle the day-to-day survival of the nation. You are so powerful that people bow to you as you pass. But this is the most dangerous rank in the court. Every decision you make creates a rival. You are one bad harvest away from being blamed for the god's displeasure. You live in a palace, but you sleep with one eye open. And finally, the apex, the pharaoh. You are not a human. You are a living god. You are the physical vessel of Horus on earth. You are the son of Ra. You wake up, and your servants dress you in gold leaf. You eat food imported from the Levant and drink wine from the Delta's finest vineyards. You don't walk. You are carried in a litter. You don't talk. You issue decrees that rewrite reality. Your word is law. If you decide a temple needs to be built, 10,000 men change their lives to accommodate your vision. But your life is the most restrictive of all. You are a prisoner of your own divinity. You cannot be seen eating, sleeping, or suffering. You must be the embodiment of Ma'at, divine order. If the Nile fails to flood, it is your fault. If an army attacks, it is your failure to appease the gods. You are the most envied person in the world, yet you are the only one who can never be truly human. You have everything, but you have no privacy, no equals, and no chance of a normal life. You are the static center of a world in motion. Think about the structure of this hierarchy. It isn't just about money, It's about proximity to the divine. The lower you are, the further you are from the gods, the more your life is consumed by physical hunger. The higher you rise, the more your life is consumed by the rituals of power. We often view history through the lens of individual agency. We think, if I were there, I would have risen to the top. But look at the evidence. The Egyptian court was a system of absolute stability, where social mobility was theoretically possible, but practically non-existent. You were born into the silt, or you were born into the gold. Today, we value the self-made man. We value the idea that our rank is a result of our individual merit. In Egypt, merit existed, but it was confined to the boundaries of your birth. You could be a brilliant scribe, but you would never be a pharaoh. You could be a powerful priest, but you would never own the land you worked on. Is our modern world really that different? We like to think we've escaped the rigid castes of the Nile. We believe in meritocracy. We believe that hard work bridges the gap between the field and the palace. But look closely at the architecture of our own lives. Are we still just performing the equivalent of the corvée labor, trading our existence for the stability of a paycheck? Are we still seeking proximity to the modern pharaohs, hoping that by being close to power, we can share in the golden aura of success? The Egyptians built tombs to last for eternity, because they believed their system was the only way to hold the chaos of existence at bay. They spent their lives building a machine that prioritized the collective over the individual. They found peace in their rank, however low it was, because they believed that their specific role, no matter how small, was essential for the sun to rise the next morning. Perhaps the real lesson of the royal court isn't about how to climb to the top. It's about how to find meaning when your life is already written for you. We are all, in a sense, residents of our own ancient courts. We are all born into a hierarchy we did not choose. We all have a rank that dictates the boundaries of our days. The question is, when your time as a subject of your own history comes to an end, what will you leave behind in the sands? Will you be the nameless laborer who made the monument possible? Will you be the scribe who recorded the truth? Or will you be the one who stood at the center of your own life, acting as if you were the only god in the room? The gold, the papyrus, the limestone, they all eventually returned to the desert. The names of the pharaohs were chiseled away by those who came after. In the end, the only thing that separates the bottom of the hierarchy from the top is the size of the tomb. And the tomb, no matter how grand, is always empty.